Critical stakeholders in Nigerian politics have been canvassing the need for political reform to guarantee internal political competition, which is fundamental to the survival of democracy in our country. They expressed concerns about the trust deficit between the people and the ruling elite and the disillusion amongst the people that has bred due to unmet expectations. They called for a democracy that permits political competition and the emergence of strong political parties to strengthen democracy rather than being election-winning vehicles. A former national vice chairman, Northwest of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Salihu Lukman, is joining us now to discuss the pressing need for changes in our country's political system. He's also going to be discussing with us the potential reforms and providing good and deep perspectives on the transformative process and steps that are needed to build a more robust and responsive political framework. Well, good to have you join us on Newsday. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, what do you make of these calls for reformation? They've been clamoring since for years, and the calls for it are even louder now. Everything from the judiciary to our political processes and our political groups as well. What have you to say about this?
I think it's a continuation of what has started. If you recall, in 2007, after the election, Nigerians were quite dissatisfied, and late President Yar'Adua, in his inaugural, had to acknowledge that the election had problem, on the basis of which he now, at that time, promised to set up a panel to investigate, to reform the electoral system. And he delivered on that, set up the OS panel. OS panel, I think, submitted its report around 2009, thereabout. Part of the recommendation of the OS panel, which is still pending, has not been implemented, include, for instance, political parties, regulatory commission, electoral offenses commission. All those have not been implemented. And as you will have seen, so far we have reduced our democracy to election. An election takes place only 4 years. The business of parties beyond election is to regulate the conduct of elected officials on the basis, because parties make promises during campaign and they are expected to, within the 4-year tenure, deliver on those campaign promises. And it's the responsibility of political parties to hold the officials who won election on their platform accountable. Now, because parties have not been, and to be frank, I don't hide this, the reality of it as it is today, we don't really have parties. What we have are just election vehicles. After election, nothing happened. I use my party, for example, and it has been the basis of my advocacy in the last 3-4 years. Meetings hardly take place. Our organs are virtually all frozen. Our leaders in the party hardly respect the provisions of the constitution of our party. So the first, and it's not just our party. If you go to PDP, it's the same story you will find. If you go to other parties, the same story you will find. I mean, to be fair to us in APC, we have tried, which was responsible for instance, why the leadership of Comrade Adams Oshimole was removed from office in 2010. We had the Memala Buni caretaker committee and we had problem with them. We had to struggle to get them to organize the convention that brought Senator Abel. And after that, in all, for instance, our National Executive Committee meeting is supposed to take place every 3 months. The last one held in August. We have been due for National Executive Committee. It has not taken place. National Caucus is not taking place. National Advisory Council, which is like our version of the Board of Trustees, has not even been inaugurated. And our constitution says within the first 1 month after election of new leadership, the National Advisory Council should be inaugurated.